Right, Pulp hits Cardiff. We get Wales's premier indie band, Big Leaves, to review new releases, and meet author John Williams, whose book, Cardiff Dead, takes us through the Welsh capital's seedy bars, corporate boardrooms, ska bands and boxing gyms.
So we're at the Royal Oak, and this is actually the setting in your book for a rather pivotal scene in your 1980s narrative. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, well, the pub, the Royal Oak, it's a real Cardiff institution. It's a boxing pub, obviously, and it's always had the boxing ring.
So, John, what made you use this pub as a setting for the book?
Well, partly because it's probably my favourite pub in the whole world, and also it's one of the few places in Cardiff that really is the old Cardiff, you know.
Right.
Maz in the book comes back here when he comes back to Cardiff because he's been around the place, everything's changed, and he comes back here to, you know, as a kind of touchstone to try and recall the place he left, you know. He gets over to the telephone and looks to see whether he can see where he wrote down his old girlfriend's phone number on the wall, you know. It's right, that kind of feel.
Did you draw your inspiration for Charlie, the character of Charlie, from here?
Yeah, in fact, just the germ of the character probably came from a guy who was an old boxer I knew who used to drink here and actually played congas in a kind of Afrobeat band.
Right.
Charlie is dead in somewhat suspicious circumstances. To many, he embodied old Cardiff through and through. A black kid from Tiger Bay who found fame and some fortune as a boxer, then joined an up-and-coming ska band. His funeral brings the band back together again. All these characters are seen trying to cope with change, shattered dreams and fading hopes, the main themes of this book. But this is also a novel about the millennial zeitgeist in the Welsh capital. Williams constantly contrasts and measures the benefits of old versus new. Suave, spanking clubs and complexes feature against the backdrop of rusting old funfairs and quaint Coney Beach.
Yeah, no, it's a big theme change, and I think one of the things, as you say, when Maz comes back to Cardiff and he goes to see the Cardiff docks, there's a huge regeneration going on there, which is both exciting, but also means you've lost a lot of things. And then when he comes here to Porthcawl, it's kind of quaint, and you wonder how long it'll last as it is. In a way, Maz likes coming back to Porthcawl. In another way, he sees the unworkability of holding on to the past, you know, that you, in the end, you have to accept change, otherwise you just decay.
Cardiff, like other major cities, is in the process of redefining itself. Big Leaves are part of this. We gave the band a clutch of new books and asked them to give us the lowdown. First up, a new collection of short stories by hip young writers.
Well, that was it, really. It's just about smoking skunk and getting paranoid in Paris.
How does it end?
It ended... Oh, yeah, she was... she got...
You haven't been having a little smoke, have you? Yeah. So, May and Rods, you read Toy Soldiers by Stephen Thompson. What did you think of it? First of all, give me your first impressions.
It was all right. Like, it was a bit of a struggle for the first sort of 100 pages, but by the end it got quite all right. Like, you know, quite enjoyable.
But you enjoyed it.
It's like strange because I wouldn't sort of read it, you know, just of my own accord, like, because it's just a story, you know the story about youth, you know, trying to live through these sort of experiences and all that. But, you know, halfway through it sort of got much better, you know, and quicker and all that. So it was...
Hello and welcome back to the bigger, brighter, bolder series of your favourite bite-sized book show, Pulp. This week, Pulp partake of forbidden fruit. And what better place to kick off than a chocoholic's heaven? We snatch a few stolen moments with Ben Elton on the set of his new film. Review steamy shocker Paradoxia from Ultra Vixen Lydia Lunch. and cook up chocolate with the added ingredient of adultery.
If I was to say to you chocolate nipples, would you slap me around the face? Or
No, I'd let you lick them.
oh, madam!
Let me get them for you.
That's beautiful.
They're gorgeous, aren't they?
But before I get carried away on this wave of complete excess, let's see what was happening over the summer. So Mel, Pulp have been in hibernation over the summer, and you're going to fill us in on some of the best sellers that we've missed out on.
Yep. Well, what everyone thought was going to be the big book of the summer, which is New Thomas Harris, Hannibal, was pretty big. But it was pipped to the post by this kids' book, Harry Potter. It's just been one of those amazing success stories.
And it's also a children's book.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
is quite unusual as well.
I mean, it appeals
isn't
to adults as well, but people have just gone mad. And it's one of those books that every kid has to have. It's like a status thing as well.
And do a lot of adults read it?
Yeah, I mean, all my friends have read it.
Have you read it?
Yeah, brilliant.
Right, we gave you a book which is also slightly forbidden fruit-esque in its theme. Gem of Bovary by Posy Simmons. What did you make of it?
I loved it, I must say. It was fantastic. I couldn't put it down. And just the little tiny details about the sort of English-French love-hate relationship.
Oh, yeah.
And you've got the baker, Joubert, who hates the English because they've come and living in his village, but he loves them because they're such brilliant customers.
Okay.
It actually starts at the beginning when Gemma is dead. And then Joubert comes in and steals her diaries. Then it's sort of, the story is told through the diaries.
So marks out of 10.
I would give it 9.9.
Oh, fantastic. Right. Gem of Bovary, Forbidden Fruit, the book review #1. Welcome to Pulp. I'm Sid Moore, marketing mogul at Brandon House, and also your trusty guide through the maze of Brit Lit.
And what a sensational series we've got in store for you. Escapees from weird death cults, graphic visions of the future, and I get trailed by a private dick.
And this is my gorgeous office. Now, we were going to go to New York, a destination fittingly glamorous for the world of publishing, but this is Pulp and we're going to Newcastle for the first book of our new series, the very excellent Season Ticket.
Season Ticket is the story of Jerry and Sewell, two boys who live in Gateshead. Both are truants, both are broke, but both have a burning ambition. They each want a season ticket for Newcastle United, and for that they need lots of dosh. Critically acclaimed, the author has won an award for the best first novel. But this book has divided all those who've read it into those who love it and those who, well, don't. I loved it, but my director didn't.
Have you read it?
What,
Season Ticket, yeah. Yeah. Well, Paul thinks it's patronising.
I think it's offensive.
Do you?
I haven't objected to a book more strongly.
Offensive to people from the North East?
I think
Liz, bleak, horrible, patronising view of the North. Season Ticket.
A little bit, maybe, but it's still got an underlying sort of sense of... It's the poignancy that's important. It's the feeling.
It's not true.
I decided to go to Newcastle and find out the truth for myself. I talked to a couple of Geordies who reviewed the book, but first I met Jonathan Tullock, the author, who used to be a teacher in Gateshead.
I was wondering whether or not Jerry and Sewell were based on any of the kids that you taught.
I suppose I would say I've drawn on like loads of children that I've taught, not one in particular.
Jonathan, you're not actually from the North East, are you?
No, I'm from Cumbria, Carlisle, which is quite near, about 60 miles away on the other side of the country. But yeah, I mean, some people have said, how can you write, so intimately about the area? But I've lived there for a long time. My dad's a Mackem, so I suppose I've got that sort of
What's the
angle
Morecambe?
from Sunderland.
Oh, right.
But sometimes I wonder, you know, like maybe you need to be sort of like on the edge slightly to get a good view of something.
Whilst in Newcastle, I dropped into Waterstones to find out what Pulp have missed whilst we've been off air.
So I'm here in the grim north, Newcastle, with Rob from Waterstones, who's going to tell me what I've missed out on since Pulp has been off air. What have been some of the highlights of this year's publishing?
Well, highlights of publishing for the publishers and for the money men has been Bridget Jones
Right.
and Harry Potter.
Right.
But apart from all the big blockbusters, which aren't necessarily any good, not naming any names, J.K. Rowling, there's been a lot of really, really good stuff out. Mira Sayal, for instance, this is about three sisters in Wolverhampton again. It's about the trials and tribulations of their family, and it's wonderful.
What else?
What else we got? We've got, well, for the blokelet, we've got Tim Lott White City Blue, which has been selling ridiculously well.
What's it about?
Well, it's about sort of what most blokelets are about these days, sort of gangs of people getting into capers and scrapes and getting wronged by the police and things.
Right.
So it's very, very entertaining.
What about chocolate?
Chocolate, again, huge seller, but in my opinion, just finished it the other night, absolutely terrible book.
Oh, why?
It's badly written, the storyline is badly thought out, it's not followed through. There's huge mistakes about the Catholic Church in there.
Oh dear.
Now, Rob, we've been interviewing Jonathan Tulloch actually today, and I wanted to find out how popular season ticket has actually been.
It's been absolutely huge.
Really?
Huge. Well, I mean, you're in Newcastle upon Tyne. Football is the church. St James's Park is the holy church of the Magpies. And, I mean, it's a story about two Radgies, as we call them up here, who are trying to get their season ticket for Newcastle, as you know from the interview and from reading the book. And, of course, everyone in the city identifies with it.
Right, so everybody does identify
Everyone,
with it up
yeah.
here, and everybody loves it.
Oh, totally.
You've had no irate customers
No,
coming in saying...
not at all.
Great, proves my point exactly.
We were born and bred in the West End of Newcastle. I mean, brought up amongst people, rough and ready people. And I did identify at times with the two characters in the book, but at other times it was totally over the top. The one about a cup of tea, for instance, they were implying it was a luxury. Not only that, it was a luxury even more so with milk and sugar.
Yeah.
Who are they trying to kid?
I thought that that was an illustration of like how mentally disorganised the mother was, that she never thought about actually getting milk and sugar and things, so they never had it in the house.
You know, he actually says in the book, tea and sugar is a luxury, you know? And it was just, what's he trying to do? As I say, you've got to go back, it was just totally bleak.
Stereotypish,
Really?
depressing.
Right.
Just pretty much depressing. I didn't like it at all.
I mean, what do you think the book is saying about Newcastle, Gateshead and young people?
I think it has painted a very black picture of everybody. You know,
It hasn't
they were
portrayed
all.
Newcastle in a good light. That's
mean,
for sure.
so
Basically, everybody's on benefits. The youngsters are burgling houses. The father's a drunkard. There's incest going on in the family.
The picture that you paint of Newcastle and Gateshead is really quite bleak, isn't it?
Well, I mean, people have said that to me. I mean, I feel as though I'm sort of concentrating on some of the positive aspects.
What's he trying to do? Smog on the Tyne. You've never saw that since the 1970s. Chimneys, factory work, people smoking. You know, working. Of course, there's working class people, but I've never seen fog on the Tyne yet. Now, I was thinking, from a book, when is this set? Is this set in the 70s? It reminded me of Kess.
Well, I'm no clearer on this book. All I can suggest is that you buy it, read it, and make up your own mind. Newcastle left me feeling confused.
Tonight, Pulp are doing something very different. Dangerous Parking is a magnificent, tender and moving novel. Tonight's programme is a tribute to its late author, Stuart Brown. In Dangerous Parking, the central character is a filmmaker and a recovered alcoholic. He's lived life to the full, sex, drugs and rock and roll, as well as falling in love with a gifted and beautiful cellist. He also has cancer. The author's real life mirrored much of the book. Stuart Brown too was a film writer and a former alcoholic. We talked to Stuart's wife about how much of the book was fact and how much of it was actually fiction.
I think that the book, lots of the actual, the emotional arc, the cancer, the addiction, the love affair, they're fact. And the emotional arc that puts the whole book together is fact. The detail of who happened to what, when, and is this character a real character or an amalgam of 10 people that Stuart knew, or did this sequence of events happen? No. Sometimes within a sentence it goes fact, fiction, fiction, fact, fiction. And I think I'm probably the only person that will know, and I'm not too sure sometimes. Somebody stopped me in the street the other day and said, "Are you a cellist?" No. Scurried away really quickly. Oh, thank God.
I want to know why I should read it.
Well, to begin with, when it was recommended that I should read it, and I said, "What's the book about?" And they said, "It's about a man who's a recovering alcoholic and is dying of cancer." And you think, okay, no, that's not something you want to read. But I took it anyway, and I have to say it's possibly the best book I have read in the last year at least. It is compelling in that it's moving, it's beautifully written, and it tells his story beautifully without being self-pitying.
Right.
So, we're on Interstate 95. Me, Blue Sky, real name Ray Molina, and Cupcake, the dog, Akash Starleg, and we are stoned out of our skulls. A six-pack of malt liquor between us, a couple of thinnies of Maui Zowie, Sinsemilla dope, and a tab of window pane acid apiece. I've come to trust Blue's driving under any conditions. He said that he'd flown Huey missions in Vietnam so fucked up they'd have to lift him into the chopper and strap him in. This mission we're on now is to hook up with some basket weavers who, somewhere on the roadside south of Charleston, tout their wares in Gula, which is a dialect which is a direct descendant of the mother tongue of their ancestors in Angola. We're to shoot a short documentary for public television. I take care of the camera, and Blue, the quickest learner in the Tropic of Cancer, is my sound man, grip, best boy, gaffer, all in a glorious one. We're a good team, but there's a major difference between us. He can work stone. I can't. So.
He finished writing it about the end of June of '99, and then he sent 3 copies off to get an agent. He got an agent in about 2 or 3 weeks. The agent, Mick Cheetham, she sold the book to Bloomsbury in about, I don't know, a couple of weeks. Signed the contract with Bloomsbury, and 5 days later they told me he was going to die. Well, all of the writing is a response to being ill, isn't it? I mean, it's such a life-affirming book, and it's so more than it just being a feel-good story, it's life-affirming in the face of horrible odds and dreadful things, and you still come out feeling life's sweet.
I think it's his spirit that even in the depths of his despair, that he's a filmmaker, the main character in the book, and he sees everything in his life through a kind of a filmic quality, and so he's always looking for something positive. And even when he's being very self-indulgent and dealing with his demons and kind of screeching out, you know, why me? There's still a spirit there about his life, and it's a quality that it's almost indescribable, which is why when I've been recommending it to people, I just say there is a humour about it also. So even though the subject matter is deeply disturbing and at times it's very upsetting, you come away from the book feeling there's something great about this, and you know, just the triumph of human nature, that people live through adversity without, you know, kind of giving up on everything.
And then there's the blue whirligig light as the state troopers cruise up behind us, and Blue pulls over, cuts the stereo and cuts the engine and tells me to stay cool. And after what seems like a century, the trooper taps on my window. I roll it down, I'm trying to get some rhythm in my breathing, and Smokey leans in his scrawny face into the bus and he says, "What the fuck do you think you boys are doing?" And Blue puts on his best college boy voice and apologizes. "Sorry, officer, was I going a tad over the speed limit?" And the cop tilts back his head. "You stoned out motherfucking hippie piece of shit. You ain't doing no speed. You are standing still in the goddamn fast lane of the goddamn Interstate 95. And he points his flashlight into the rear of the bus, and Cupcake snarls at him, teeth glinting, and the trooper leans back 10 feet, shits himself, calls for backup, rebounds to the open window, and thrusts his .347 revolver through the window, and one eye on Cupcake, asks ever so slowly, ever so politely to step down from the vehicle. It seems the cop was right. We were standing still on the highway. We must have run out of juice and been tripping so hard we hadn't noticed. And for God knows how long we'd been sitting there, listening to Exile on Main Street, while countless tons of metal swerved past us at 1 trillion miles an hour. And there was not so much as a scratch on our orange polka dots. This I need to remember if ever I'm tempted to say that I'm unlucky in life. Anyway, the judge at the Charleston County Court looks Blue and I straight in the eye, and his face a trimixture of loathing, disbelief, and repressed laughter, and he shakes his head and he says, "I swear to God, I don't know what to charge you boys with." And then he shuffles his legal briefs, and he thinks for a moment, and then he breaks it into a bilious smile. "I got it!" And he goes for a big, dramatic pause here. "I'll charge you with dangerous parking."
Yeah, that was fact. He was busted for that in South Carolina.